그죠. Yeah, dear, kind, precious, which granting. Yeah, 그죠. All yes, and the friends and all the father, mother, brothers, sisters of sentient beings. Yeah. Once alone, even if the everlasting happiness or the liberation from samsara forever. Even that's not the real, purpose of life. That is to benefit other sentient beings. And to that you have to stop harming other sentient beings. So numberless sentient beings. And then feeding from the oceans of samsara suffering. Little that. Bring the numbers need to realize and so then bring everyone. So I was saying that was saying the last time including that means around oneself, simultaneously, a creature, including that, bugs and then mosquitoes and ants and whatever you see, your eyes can see. Cats and dogs and birds and whatever. See all that, all the human beings. So from there to all the rest, sentient beings covers all this. Obscure. Suffering sentient beings. So to bring everyone to full enlightenment. By one's alone. That is for the reasons one needs to achieve. omniscience, and that is the powers of listening, tracing. Okay, so as I mentioned, those other reasons for every helpings, for every hunger goes, for every animals, for every human being, for every helpings. Because the Sura beings, every Sura beings. So that's the purpose of this teaching, and that's the purpose. That's very okay, right. Yeah, so because it's the environment, then all the law done, but all the all the mentioned, yes, and wow, oh, particular subject here, emptiness or dependent rising. As you mentioned about Lama in the three principal aspects of the path to enlightenment. So just go back what I explained last time, the end one. So the root that which makes us to circle in samsara, there is a tandem maribat that depend on ignorance holding the eye. Otherwise, hold the eye. Not I was holding the as a real. So, going to Prasangikas school, mathematics school, Prasangikas, ignorance holding the eye. The very subtle one, existing from his side. Yes, it is labeled by the mind, but there's something from his side. There's something from there. Oh, that subtle one. That one. Yes, you agree, labeled by the mind. Yes. You see, but not mid-leveled by the mind. There should be something from his own side. Should be something from his side. Then there is the Vaibhashikas school, Rangjiva called that is correct. That's what I believe. But, continuing. So, according to mathematics, Prasangikas, that is exactly the object of repetition is exactly. Matameka Prasangikas view. That's subtle. So I think I might have mentioned earlier. Pasachujalten. In his text, that's it. Commentary of the right view. That is because you see, when you walk on the dangerous road, easy to fall down the precipices or something like that. You see. Then the eye, fear to fall down. This is a kind of real eye. Real eye, You see, as I mentioned earlier, if you examine that, like balloon, by blowing bigger, after more fear rising, the conditions, dangerous road and easy to fall down. So the emotional eye, or in English, emotional eye, and emotional eye, or the so all this should be emotional eye. Of course, in the West, Western science or the didn't explain, but yes. Then you said that you see that real eye. So by analyzing, there is this tachi ranga eye permanent, existing alone without different paths, existing with its freedom without different cause conditions, and it is there. You see that and then what the Vaibhashikas and Chittamatrins, Dateva.
Sautantrika.
Svatantrikas.
Sautantrika.
Dateva.
In Sanskrit, Sautantrika.
Svatantrikas. Yeah. Self-sufficiency. The appearance of self-sufficiency. I remind on the school, to the mantra. Yeah, because 이동, 순진 이동. 또 seven continents, 군식이 남지. Seventh continents. It is best of all. Some of the nirvana. Of the the imprint substance left on that, then that is experience out. One object, one subject together. So the way things exist, it should exist in that way. So things exist in just completely without substance living on the seven continents and experience out. Without even that, then subject object exists from its own side. So the appearances. Then also 눈물을 나온 게 샤워인데 undefected. Things appear to the undefected mind. Then the undefected mind labeled. Included. So purely exists. Some mind with the region purely exists from that, from the object side. So this 각자 연기가 그걸 Svatantrikas 각자 있어요. 연기가 각자. So accepted level by mind, but there should be something from its own side. So, that exactly Matambega Sautrantikas, but Prasangikas, Gata, object repetition. Exactly. That's how that is. So you see, now the subtle. You have to recognize how subtle it is. Yeah, very subtle, yeah. It's labeled by mind, but there should be something from its own side. There should be something. Yeah. There should be liberty. There should be liberty from its own side. Oh, that one. Not completely labeled by mind. See, that's subtle. So, therefore, in that passage commentary of the right view, there it says that's a very gross appearance of the eye. So, not exact right view 각자 or mathematics school, Prasangikas school, the subtle kakcha, object of liberty. They should, at the middle level, there should be something from inside, even just a little. Or that, you see? So, it says that one is a kind of very gross one. So that's not a person, the mathematical person, school kakcha. It's annihilate, Kazakh, annihilate, negate, yeah. The one says, yes, actually it's Prasangikas school, it's a very subtle one, kakcha. Then if you know the kakcha, very clear of his school, and then especially Prasangikas school, kakcha chamo, subtle one. If you know that, then you know exactly the right view of the emptiness. What is empty? The emptiness. Then from that, by realizing that, then you see no choice. You come to understand. The subtle dependent rising, how the I exists. It is in the mere name, the subtle dependent rising. So first, you see that you realize the truth, the absolute truth. Truth for the wisdom. See, that. Then as a result, then you realize, truth for the old school mind. Kundriki damba. So what you normally translate is the combination truth. I don't know what exactly means. So like that. That's how you come to know that the I is the truth, or the truth of the altogether mind. Go to Chittamba. So you see, it's quite useful. Very useful to come to know exactly the Prasangikas certain object to be repeated. Exactly. Yes, I said, but then now you know exactly the right view, subtle, right view, the emptiness of Prasangikas. So here it says, So good, not only the eye, not only the way of the eye appeared to the hallucinant mind. No, that is and then yeah. I mean, from the form, all the existence, from the form up to the state of omniscience. All the phenomena. Yeah, the way they appear to our hallucinant mind. So the whole thing, you see, not only just with the eye, no, the whole thing, it's like that. So light appears to us now, is really light. So in the view, there's all these wrong views. Yeah, sound you hear, in that view, the way the sound appears, it's all that, Gacha. Then the sound, then the smell, doesn't appear meal level smell, so smell to us. So that is all the wrong Gacha, all the wrong views, and taste salt, taste sugar, or chili, erma. Many people may not know what erma is, what the service is, along with the chili. So the taste, milkshake, cake, yeah. So, yeah, the way it appeared to that human. So that is all the wrong view. Then smell of fat. Oh. Somebody made fat, person sitting next to you. And I think the person is very used to making fat, When the fat comes up, very used, so then person, then. You lost the fat. You lost the fat, and you see, in the fat, how the fat appeared to your hallucination mind concept, and then you see, real fat. Wow, wow. You worry, what will think the next person? What will think him? Then maybe this person might get angry. But till you go away or something. You were worried what the next person will think, won't enjoy. Yeah. So so that's everything. Yeah. Then, when we touch soft or rough, tangible, touch the body, it's a sense of body, and there's again real, So there's all, on the view, there's all the gaksha, all the wrong birds. So chi, then you see, only appears the mind, sixth consciousness. And again, view that view has also the real, only from the, but it is all that gaksha. You have to know that. It's not only I. So the whole world, your whole world, for example, your Kopan, your Kopan Monastery. So permanent, existing alone, existing with its own freedom is there. The view is there. See? And then, then the Vaibhashikas and the Vaibhashikas and the Svatantrikas, the view is there. The view wrong with the self-sufficiency. You see? There. So, I see. As the king controlling the population, so without even the population, the king existing. So that Kopan Monastery, without even known as parts. So self-sufficiency is there. Then, Chittamatrins. Sentient. Sentient. How to say?
Apprehender and apprehended. The apprehended and the apprehender held as substantially different.
Apprehended and apprehended.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yes. We can just say subject and object.
Yeah, but apprehended means person?
Zimpa. Yeah, because exactly, Zimpa, holder, and Zungwa is held.
Oh, this must be a little... I think when you say apprehender, that might be the person, related to the person. Is a writer, related to the person. Writing is related to the person. It's pen. Writing, pen. Writer is person. So in Jeffrey Hawkins' the Lorry book, I was checking so Zimba, not Shamba, Rigba, he translated
Awareness.
Rigba, he translated knower.
Knower.
He translated knower in the Luri book by Jeffrey, knower. So knower is really knower, writer, driver. Very common. It's a related person. Driver. Driving is not a related person. It's a driver, writer is a person. Yeah. Smoker, the person. Drinker, person. So knower, that's not correct. Well, I was checking on that, but I'm not sure read all about it. Yeah, knower is wrong. This person. Knowing is correct. Knowing is correct. By using the same word, but knower is a relative person. That which is knowing is that Zimba. Let me see. Rigpa. That which is knowing, that which is aware, that which is knowing. Shiva. So a long time, many years ago, I think I saw that in the after Vaibhashikas Lori book translation. Yes, among the other men, I don't know what many other translators. Gabriel Organ is the one who translates very close texts. Many others can go around like that, when you translate things. So, what we're discussing before.
The view of the Chittamatra.
Yeah.
Sensation to Zimba.
So, sensation to Tua. How do you say?
Apprehended and apprehender held as substantially different. Or established as substantially.
So the apprehender related to the person is that which is apprehending. Sungzin, that which is apprehending. Yeah. There which is, how do you say?
Apprehending.
Of what?
What? Held as substantially different.
Held as different. So that means you can say, yeah, what's left from the seventh conscience? You see, substances not experience out. Subject objectivity without depending on that. Then means inherently they exist from inside. So the yeah. And then I can say, yeah, there and Juba existing tomorrow you were dwelling on the particular from its own side without depending on the first appearing the undefective mind, the labeling, without doing that. Oh, so is that. Then the very subtle one, Svatantrikas. It is labeled by the mind, but still there's something from it, right? Or that. Labeled undefective mind. There's something different. Oh, there's something there. Very subtle. Oh, that's so. That's exactly how the Prasangikas people school. So when in the church, then these were six conscience. Okay, so so you should know, us circling in samsara, the root of us circling samsara is dependent to the ignorance, holding the eye. In order to cut that, then you need to generate wisdom, realizing no self. So people don't get confused. They means totally, when those new people listen, they might think, oh, there's no I. No, there's no talk about that. Talking the real I. So, go to schools and later their own, you see, gata, object interpretation. So you have to understand that by now. So going to Prasangikas, then that labeled by the mind, but you see, there's something from it outside. Or that, the one, so that's realizing the no self. Wisdom realizing no self. Then it says, the Dhammitana being Japanese, the elaborate way, explaining Tenla blue, how do you say?
Explaining or ascertaining can be either.
The way of showing, explaining no self. Elaborate way is what is taught in the Lamdram with the four vital points, analysis of the four vital points. It is good, it says Vaibhashikas, relating to that. It's good, But here, but here, if I explain you in brief the importance of review, but depending on the logician, dancing,
reason.
Reason of dependent arising. Dirish tindigi tindiri teni, tawe nenga duzitam shuna. So then here it says, all the phenomena exist, rises or exist, but depend on the base to be labeled and that which is labeling. Dakshidang dochelat, tenyang che tamje, dakshidang dochelat deni chungales. All the phenomena rises, but depend on best to be labeled and there is a labeling. Tellama tebar rangani tuba dutamya mebes. So without doing that, existing from its own side, do not exist if that's the atom. So that means starting the eye, action object. Yeah. So I'm doing from the form of omniscience. Everything. So you see, the way appeared, I will hold on to. Nothing. Non-existent. Non-existent or non-existent? What? Non-existent or tense? No, tense.
Well, totally non-existent.
Yes. Aha. So don't worry about real milkshake, real milkshake, real pizza. Don't worry about. If you don't get, if you don't have, don't worry. That's the reality. Or drug. Real drug, real pleasure, real drug, real pleasure. Oh. So you don't worry. Let go. So you let go of the real drug, real pleasure, real wish is not there. So you are always looking for that. So that's totally wrong. So you never have to worry. So you are incredibly habituated in that. Wow, you don't have money, it's very expensive. You steal from parents' money. Oh, then they find out that you get in trouble. Wow, that's a common story you have. So all that is, you see, very silly. Because it's not that, the real pleasure is not that drug. There's no real drug, there's no real pleasure. So alcohol, real alcohol is not there, real pleasure is not there. So you are totally hallucinated. So if you are learning emptiness, you should benefit in that. So you can control kasuri, desire. So much desire. Become crazy. What do you call English? What do you call?
What?
In English, what do you call?
What word?
What?
Addicted.
Yeah. I know that's another word. Holic.
Alcoholic.
Yeah.
Hooked.
Holic. Yeah, alcoholic or holic or it's called holic. Not only is alcohol, but it is used for others.
Addict.
Yeah.
Drug addict.
Yeah, I mean, the holic become holic about everything. So, yeah, drugs. Drugs, then wine, sex, then I don't know what else. The different people involved with it. So much of the problem. So much of habitude, can't control, desire. So much desire. So much desire. So then you suffer. Then you suffer. You suffer so much. Then because then you have to go to prison. The government put police. Then you put in prison. I don't know in the West when the people put in prison, they get beaten or not. No.
It's not legal to beat them, but they often do.
Huh?
The guards, they're not allowed to beat them, but they do beat them.
Well, Nepal, India, I had beat so much.
Yeah.
Beat very much. I think the primitive countries beat so much. But in the West, they talk so much of freedom. So much. I don't think they would allow. It's like in school beating children. In the past, done in the West, but not what we're doing now. Yeah.
In school, not, but in prison they still do.
Yeah. So.
They can't say.
So if you beat, like past in the West, also beat children, in the old times, then if you do like this now, even the teachers have to go to court, prison. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, the same thing with sex. There's no real sex. There's a hallucination. There's no real pleasure. There's no real pleasure, sex pleasure. There's a hallucination. Total hallucination. It's not there. So forth. Everything. But you got bad habituation that makes life so much suffering. So much suffering. So that's the thing. You can see the world, so much suffering. Then there are some what are called holy killing people. Anything you don't like, you kill. Got holy, not a drug holy. Killing. Like that. Wow. Okay, that we become holy of killing suffering. Holy. Wow. More than after meditate like that. Recognize in that way, widely, not just I. 태양 루슨 이쪽에 땡도 파딱바 짬라 되네 중알레 루슨 이쪽에 땡도 파딱바 라마데바 제거랑 언제 주주바매 so even that for example, above having gathered body and mind, then your mere level so arises, means the I. So 루신이 초배 땡도 대양 루신이 초배 땡도 파 따마 잠는데 중앙래 on above having gathered body mind this I middle level then rises from that. How do I exist like that? Rises middle level on the having gathered body and mind. So therefore, 루신이 처음에 땡도 파딱 말아 마주에 봐. 그런 게 원에 주주밤에 the I without depending on middle leveling from the side of the name, what is the thought, leveling thought on the kata. Having gathered the body mind, it doesn't exist from its own side. Doesn't exist from its own side. So English, that seems that's enough, but in Tibetan, the same. The Quran one is Sutra, same meaning. The Quran one is Sutra. 루신이 레진이 짱 랑은이 주주밤에 even the body mind do not exist from its own side individually one by one. 루신이 레진이 짱 body and mind even separately they don't exist from its own side. So, totally empty from the side. It doesn't mean nihilistic. It means the real body, real mind do not exist from its own side. So it's very interesting. Yeah, not only the I do not exist, the aggregates do not exist from its own side. See? Yeah. So then the body and mind, the body and mind, then the general aggregate, then the pieces, the parts, then body and mind. Then body and mind depend on the bodies, 5 different parts, 5 different parts. You know, so many parts. So there's the atoms, the particle atoms, so many parts. So parts of the body are probably then depends on the also many collections of parts. Then it goes down to an atom, particular atoms. So that so therefore now if you meditate like that, make a research like that, then there's everything merely inputted. Everything is merely inputted. But depending on the Chittamatrins, valid base which is to be labeled, Chittamatrins, the concept, value concept, labeling. Thing then depending on those two, then it exists. So everything is. Basis of that, basis of that, basis of that, basis of that. So like that. So that's very good meditation. That's very good meditation. I would suggest. Yeah, even that on the basis. Then, you see, there's nothing real. All the bases, see, they're all empty, do not exist from inside. Totally empty, see? Completely logical experience. So there is no real driver, there is no real car, there is no real road. Yeah? There is no real eater, there is no real eating, there is no real food. That's how you meditate, how you should meditate while you're eating. There is no real buyer, there is no real buying, there is no real sugar bar, there is no real buyer, real buying.
Goods? Goods to buy?
There is no real buying, there is no real goods, there is no real sugar bar. There is no real supermarket, there is no real department store. So before I was saying, so you see, so where you live is Kopan Monastery. So where you sleep, where you eat, where you debate, where you do prayer, meditation, straight dharma. So there's no real straight dharma, there's no real learning. There's no real Kopan. There's no real Kopan. That's the reality. That's the real Kopan. So like that, there's no real Nepal. There's no real Nepal. There's no real Nepal. There's no real world. So you should expand. There's no real Kopan. There's no real Nepal. There's no real world. You have to go through like this. So in Washington, one was there last time, I think maybe I said 2 months. So that time, I'm supposed to go every day from the house. You go a little bit up, a little bit this way, then go down to the main road, a little bit down, I say. So every day for the diabetes, but one day I want. For 2 months, one day I want. One evening I want. So there was a Raja, there was sheriff. There was 13 and Tenzin, both monks from Washington. Amitabh Pure. So we're going down, but that's meditating more impermanent state. You know, your life, how many seconds you have, but running out, finishing so unbelievable, so fast, finishing life. So going down, meditating life. Then when you're going up, you see, explain the Gacha. Explain the Gacha. Maybe explain the for school, I don't remember. So, you know, it's exercising from inside, so general. So that, yeah, I explain the Gacha. So real person, real walking, real road, all that, you see, which is not there. Which is not there. Then I explained everything made level or empty or something. I don't remember exact. So while I'm doing that, then the our place, Amitabh Pure retreat place, I start to feel it's not, in the feel it is not there. The reality is not there. So of course we believe so much, but it's not there. But it's the place we do believe all the time, day and night. Oh, wow. So that means, kind of, not there. So you come to that. You come to that. That means the rest world. That means the rest world. Same, not there. Not all the Amitabh Pure, but the whole world. You can say, oh, hold it, I'm trying to hold it, oh. That's totally wrong. So as you is when the worship Amitabh Pure, that means the whole world. You have to do that. That means you do not have real parents. This is my father. Oh, this is my mother. This is my husband. Oh, this is my child. Oh, too much, is it? But reality, not there. And the real money is not there. Real job is not there. Real money is not there. Like that. See, you do maintain emptiness like that. Oh, emptiness is just word. Hey, yes, you say just a word, but you never touching the experience. Oh, you never, then that's just learning the word. And I think I'm not sure if many people do that, that's real experience. But now you're learning truth of your life. Now you're learning truth of your life. You see, you're learning your life. What is your life? You're learning what is you. See? You have to know that. That's very important in the West. Ooh, so important. Otherwise, depression. Ooh, what is the real life? Ooh, depression. Ooh, I can do anything. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't. Nobody loves me. Ooh. Even the ants don't love me, and even the ants, they bite me. They don't love me. Even the mouse, they don't love me. Or this mouse. What else? There's no real dog, there's no real cat. If your big things, there's no people around you, so dog cannot fight you. Don't fight you. Unless you don't understand, but do whatever you want. Okay. So there's no real dog or real cat. So like that. Oh, like that. Like that. So much. Oh, that's learning. That's the truth of your life. What is life? What is the truth of your life? Now you are seeing. Now you are seeing. Discovering, seeing your life. Truth of your life. So then I read this in the story. So here says, if you put a reason to this, how you say?
Subject or quality possessor.
Huh?
Usually subject, literally quality possessor.
Yeah, subject of all the samsara beyond samsara. Kundige chözen. Dendenji 미국에 소랑은 주바 중생함이지. What is focused by your mind? What is focused by the mind? Holding truly existent. that which is holding truly existent. Doesn't exist even in the slightest. Doesn't exist even the I repeat again. With this, I repeat. The what your mind focus. The mind, then the that which is holding truly existent. So do not exist from its own side, even the slightest. Why? The dependent arising tenderly mature. So usually in the debating subject, Kondigation, samsara, the subjects, the phenomena of samsara and beyond samsara. The Brahma truth is, do not truly existent. Do not truly existent. The Brahma truth is. So it was became action object, something new. Enlightenment, hell, something new, heaven, Brahma. Thing became empty. Never made it. None truly existed. Never met. None truly existed. So now reason the subjects of all the phenomena of samsara, from beyond samsara, is or are dependent arising, tenderly immaterial. That's the reason. Tenderly immaterial. Existing in the mere name. All this existing, all the subjects, all the phenomena of samsara, has no truly existence. Has not truly existed. So it's empty. Wow, empty. Reason? Because all the subject phenomena, samsara, beyond samsara, all the image. The image. So, existing is the mere name. Existing, all this which exists is existing is the mere name. Merely labeled by the worldly mind. Merely labeled by the mind. Merely labeled by the mind. Merely labeled on by the worldly mind. Relating to the valid base. So, yes, things exist. Still things exist, yes. But true. It looks like somebody's biting, but there's real biting. So biting, real biting, real eating, not that. Real eating, so we use the bamboo, is it? There's no real, what is the name of this?
Back scratcher.
There's no real back scratcher, there's no real eating. There's no real eating. There's no real body. Yeah? Something like that. Very interesting. Learning truth about your life. I should know this. I mean, it's right, it's about to the west, a professor, That's a real experience. Think of your life. Yeah, otherwise become crazy. Believing they're wrong. They're living suffering life. That's the real suffering life. You're living the real suffering life. So, so everything exists. Oh, this exists totally different than what appears, the way it appears, the way you believe, how you hold on. Nothing to do with that. Totally something else. That's how we should meditate all the time. Yeah. Reality. All right. Then we stop there. And then next time, then I have something to discuss. All right. Okay, all right. You see, some people have this sort of a sickness. So much eating the whole body. So much eating, skeleton, blood comes up. My uncle had 1 year. They brought a cut window. Oh, so looking baby sick. Then my brother's Sanjay's wife, Natal family as a young teen, who used to come here to make potato pancake. Yeah, and then those who take care, wash my uncle's monk Kelong, wash his body and massage, Indian medicine, then take looking just Naga stone laying down in the water, pond. Yeah, so there, so to the puja from the monk, Luther. Oh, then, yeah, then you got better. I'm still recovered. I think, then you left. So he never had the woman washing body in the sink, so he was feeling shy. Yeah, it was if they don't check out, then they would check out. So yeah, like that. So when you go back, much better. So there are people like this. I mean, among the listeners, if there are people like that, wow, that means it's the reality. You don't have the real body. You don't have the real eating. Oh, don't have. Anyway, I just said that much. All right. Sentient beings, Buddhas. Changjo samjo rinpoche ma jeba na jeju te jeba nyamba meba yi kone gon power show. Yeah. And this different dress. I come there, not only yourself, all sentient beings. They're going to your parents. So you pray. That's what they need. You praying is the best help. Even you don't talk on that matter, but then something you can do that. You're talking Dharma, then you can do those things. But you pray, listen. Otherwise, they cannot be free from samsara. If they don't realize emptiness, they cannot be free from samsara. Then they will experience samsara forever. As they've been suffering from beginningless rebirth. Konde ranchi adun da meva da jun da da ruwa meva pezo kame dozo zawai lora kande zopa zinjiro. Now we pray for all those people with the virus, then losing then people particular virus, but with the karma, where they're not sick virus, but they come out to get sick. Those people. Sentient, Nepal, Sentient, Banyudu, Nele, Adaju, Ninamal, Tato, Joa, Meba, Joy, Sentient, Nepal, Sentient, Nyoto, Nele, Adaju, Ninamal, Tato, Joa, Meba, Joy, Sentient, Nepal, Sentient, Nyoto, Nele, Adaju, Ninamal, Tato, Joa, Meba, Joy. Did all the best, all those sick people, all the get reborn in the Lord. Nothing I know. All the diseases were Then the karma department collected from beginning to birth, and all those get purified. All of the diseases, and all those get healed right now. And then they come out, collected from beginning, totally purified now. I may all the wishes be succeed immediately, Holy Dharma. May they actualize body, it's even matter, it's good possible. Those who died after him, but died, those who died, very sick, virus, how many, Saya? 5 million? How many Saya? 5 Saya?
How many million died?
In the world, it's this number.
How many have died from the virus? In America, it's 200,000.
No. In the whole world, million Saya. This is Saya. Million. Huh?
I think maybe 2 million.
No, I think 5 or something.
It's just saying 1.2 million deaths and 47 million got sick.
47.
Dead, how long?
1.2 million.
So there's no real virus. So there's no real death. There's no real death. There's no real virus. Same. Still continues. Same subject. There's no real death. There's no real virus. There's no real person. There's no real people who get a real virus. That's true hallucination. So the people who are so afraid of virus, so concerned. So I heard many Tamils of the Lama told me, many Tamils they commit suicide, but afraid of virus. So there's a lot to the mind, Nando. Yeah, substitute, Nando. And then I heard also in the India or West, also I heard many in India recently. In India, but in the West normally happens. Some of that happens, but I think India that I heard recently. So this is exactly what I need to learn. So hallucination, real virus, real all this, real death. They have to should recognize, emptiness. Yeah. Non-truly exist. Virus is non-truly exist. The people who experience non-truly exist. Death, there's no real death, non-truly. So meditation goes same. Yeah. Because people believe in Buddha. Oh, but it's the real Buddha. Then you're supposed to, you can't say, then you're supposed to believe that, even though you're studying emptiness. No? That's yours, that's our supposition. Because of old, they follow the Tenzin Marigba. So they follow the Tenzin Marigba ignorance, holding everything truly. They follow that. That 100% believe in that. They follow that. So you have to know that. So you have to know that. So that means we are also following that, you know. So, even though we're studying emptiness. So it becomes very interesting. That's why the emptiness is only I. Everything is real exists. Virus, death, everything real, except the I. Maybe your eyes. Sometimes like that. And did all the bars of the best I married, chocolate, I married, chocolate, number sentence, did I marry chocolate, number Buddha? Tinkaina. Oh, then it got those died. No, after him died with brother. May all those things never be reborn. In the Lord realm is born immediately liberated from that, and may they be born in the pure land where they can become enlightened. Oh, may there is at least perfect human birth, Midmana teaching. I Midmana teacher, Papa Lukalba man teacher, reveal the mystic path to enlightenment. But please, most of all, man, about to run with the enlightenment as quick as possible. I Sarakunda Java Tonga Veteja Senyanga Dava Java Vela Daniela Keja Sayanda Maya Jordan. Mijuan Namdara Tangme Timdan de la Jase Chube Nido Jeta Jagarinina Lozo Jove Dondo Okay. But this how many people died? You said 1 million?
They say 1.2 million.
I don't know.
I think many more. It's only, they count 1.2 million, but probably much more than that.
At one point, I don't know the Tibetan.
Saya Chik Tambumi.
But that includes all the people died in China. So many died in China. Do they count that? I don't think so.
If they don't report it, they can't count it.
I think it only includes Western East.
Yeah, I think even then it's much more, because many people die at home and they don't report it.
Yeah, true. Right. I didn't do that. You know the past, the best of it, I'm chocolate, I'm chocolate, be totally enjoyed by sentiment forever. Oh, how they enjoy the how they use the earth, water, fire, wind, like medicine, like the wood in the fire, wood in the kasa, forest, like that. I'm thinking. Sentient thoughts about. Oh, then the whole sentient beings most precious, like one's own life. And I'll do that. It's all like how you take care of your life. Do everything, do every single thing, protect from suffering, harm. Do every single thing, small things, you do everything. Then you offer happiness, every single thing to the life, your life. Oh, so now you do like that to every helping Sangha goes, animals, human beings, Sura beings, Asura beings, pa 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 pa. Not only your friends, not only your family. All like that. That's happened, so I made the whole mess most precious. Oh, come to you become virtuous friend of the sentiment. So that's where they achieve all the happiness, that's best God, they achieve all the happiness in enlightenment. They achieve enlightenment very easily, yeah. So then, do it. Huh? Huh? Yeah. My dread don't can't right. Dread don't can't together like it. Tell Dala te da di me da ge ma lo te me yo wa. It's a ceremony. What's my? It's a ceremony. If they're watching my comedian. Huh? Comedian. They will laugh. They will to fall on the floor. Or anybody. I mean, yeah, I think more, because when you sit down, straight, whatever, very I break all that. Do I what?
Talk about Dela Dick Minjin?
Dala tata timija. Dala tata timija. Oh, man, oh, nigga come be driving to me. So that means all the sufferings, yeah, we receive things. So all my happiness, virtue, every single be happened to others. And I'm into that. And all the result, all the happiness, including what happened to them. You give it to them. System Jaka, she can't do Mount Tessa. The Chilana Maba is under the journey. The comment if there's one Sunday means samsara, then I about even though I could it, but it's not to help them. Oh yeah. Don't you the nigga, due to all the past, the best matter to collect by me. Oh, yeah, 3 hours to collect number sentence, man. Oh, 3 hours, number Buddhas. Amen, sentence, I see here. Remember just by that, my innocent baby, hear me, see me, touch me, just by that, all the babies were all their suffering immediately, and they did all the happiness. Oh, did all about the best, the best, I made it to close, I made it to close about the Malays and the bad. Oh, did I made it to close about the Malays, Buddhas. That was empty, that was empty from society, so it exists in mirror. And then I exists in the mirror. It's the Buddha which exists in the mirror. I didn't I didn't lead all the sentence bands who exist in the mirror. Abamasla loro gizemena. Dunya kanjamal bhavet jimbata kunda sambhati atakunde jitandalo jikevata jaratanga jave owa gangla ya jodo ngavayage anda keveta dinya sangbo jera dungavara inji jede kamande peyde maluba kale ajo sabe Sure.